Hey everyone, it's me Ragnarok Aesthetic, and today we're going to do our first tutorial and we're going to be covering doing summons, and this is going to require the Stella Battle Core, and it's pretty simple to do, so just follow along with me. Alright, and here we are inside of RPG Maker itself. If you liked that previous video, that's what we're going to be learning how to do, well, that little snippet, you know what I mean. So here we have a few options here, and it's mostly going to be you manipulating, showing pictures, moving pictures, so on, so forth, and using the battle core. And we will get right into this, and I am going to zoom in this image for you guys so you can see what's going on in a clearer view. Before we actually get started on this tutorial, if you haven't done this yet, like I mentioned earlier, you're going to need the Stella Battle Core, which is free on their website or their itch.io. So go check that out first. I'll put a link in the description if you don't know where to get it, and let's carry on from here. After you have added the Stella Core engine and the Battle Core from the sample project, we are good to go. So please follow me with this image here. Now in this image, we're going to focus on a certain name here, and the certain name is Fenrir. And Fenrir is going to be the one summoned within my game, and we're going to focus on his name. Now in this image, you're going to notice that I have an image called Fenrir Drop, and behind the other frames, there's a number, and we're going to get into that in just a moment. So the first half of this image basically explains that we're going to have Fenrir come in from the very top, invisible, then he's going to drop down and do his animation like you saw in the clip from earlier. So first, let's get into our images. And right here you can see I have 4 images. You can have as many as you want, just make sure you put a weight between it so it's not moving too fast. Now as you see here, I have 4 images here. The first image is the character dropping in, the second is him preparing for the attack, the third is him going lower, and the fourth is him basically about to explode. Like I said, you can have as many frames as you want, you can go crazy with it, it's your project, I personally don't care, just do your thing, have fun. But basically, number 1 is going to be just Fenrir Drop with no number behind it. Then number 2 is Fenrir Drop 2, 3, so on and so forth. You get the hint. So with that being said, whenever you have your 4 images, frames, how many you have, then we can move forward and let's go back and look at the common event. Okay, so I'm going to try to do this the best to my ability as I can. I'm not good at making videos, but we're going to start here. So for the first picture where it says show picture here, we have Fenrir Drop coming in. Oh, sorry about that. We have Fenrir Drop coming in, and basically I selected his image, he's number 1, cool. We're going to show him at a certain destination, sorry. And basically right now he's a little above the screen right now, as you can see. You see him right here a little bit, he's popping up. So basically I'm going to cancel that. So I did negative 96 because I want him to be a little bit above the screen, and his X is basically centered. Depending on the dimensions of your game, it can always change. So we're going to do that. And then what you're going to set is a move picture event. And this move picture event is basically going to tell where do I want him to go. So basically in my quick settings from the top part, he's going to drop down automatically because the engine knows he's starting from the top and he's going to drop down. You can play with this any way you want. You can have them going left to right, up, down, whatever you want, if you just play around with the move picture. So after we've done that, he drops down, we wait a few frames, we wait 30, and then he goes into frame number 2 where he turns around, and then from frame 3 he goes lower like I've showed you. And then frame 4, he kind of explodes. So why I've done this a different way, oh sorry, let me get into this. So what I actually had to do is basically turn down the opacity, because if you have an animation and a picture at the same time, since we're using pictures, the picture will go in front of the animation and it looks very awkward, especially if you want them to fade away. It depends on the animation you're doing, it's up to you like I said, but for me it felt a little weird that he was still visible when there was an explosion going on. Now we're going to move on to the next part. This is where the battle core and the core engine come into play. So first we're going to have an animation play, And we want the animation to play at the same coordinates where he was at before. So you're going to look for Visual Stella MZ_1_ Battlecore and animation play at coordinate. So we're going to click the X and the Y, find out where you want to drop. You know, there's other options here if you want to play around with it. And then you're going to look for the animation ID and just remember that, and then it'll play there. Then the next part is, I found that if you use this animation, it doesn't really do damage. It doesn't do anything, to be honest. So you have to kind of play around with it. So I've came up with a solution. So I'm going to play the sound effect, the damage, you know, the classic, you know, RPG Maker damage. And what I do is I make them change how their animation is, because even though it doesn't do damage, or the animation does do damage, but this is a workaround. You'll see what I'm talking about. So you're going to do the same thing, the Visu MZ1 Battlecore, and you're going to do motion type. And whoever it's targeting, if it's one or multiple enemies, just set it as in this they have it set up as you can do alive enemies or alive actors, whatever floats your boat. And then from there you're just going to do okay, and then you're going to do this third thing here. It's called Visu MC1 Battlecore, and then the command name is mech HP MP TP. And what this does is this assigns the damage. So basically we're trying to make the game look like they're taking damage, even though the animation doesn't really do anything because it's not technically a skill, and we're kind of Frankensteining something, if that makes sense. And you can change how much damage you want it to do and things like this. I don't know how to do scripts yet. I could probably figure it out. It's probably easy, just a script to do the damage in this, but I'm just doing a flat rate right now. You can do whatever you want, it's up to you, and you can play around with it. So with that being said, after all of this, we're going to take the first image. Well, this is what I did. I took the first image of the Fenrir drop here, and I just set him back to what he was at the beginning, and I changed his opacity backwards from what I did. I did it in intervals of 50, so until we got the full thing. And then once he was standing there, I went back to the move picture, and you can't see it again, but I made him go up. He just jumps off the screen, and we're done. So basically it's that simple to do this. This is basically a Frankenstein summon template, but we're gonna overview the video one last time with a little clip that I made, so I can tell you what's going on piece by piece. So here we are, we're at the video now, and we're gonna go step by step. So first, I made it an item, of course. So I assigned the common event to an item. So we called the item Summon Fenrir. So boom, this character is going to activate it. Fenrir jumps down like we did in the tutorial. He just jumps down a little bit from the top of the screen, like so. And then this you can't really see, but he's going to switch frames and go invisible, and then he gets the last frame, and then this explosion happens. And he comes back. I know that was probably poorly done, but then you can't hear it. The sound effect plays because it hits the enemies. We change their animation to them taking damage, and then damage is assigned. And then he just bounces out of there. So yeah. Okay, that's the end of my first tutorial video. I have more tutorials coming, but please check out this video. Let me know what you like about it. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out. And I thank you again, everyone in the RPG Maker community that's helping me out and talking to me, and I support the other RPG makers. So please, if you have any questions or concerns, please ask me and I will answer them. Peace.